If you're trying to hire for a new recruiter in your recruitment agency and you're really struggling, then the chances are it might be because the opportunity you're presenting is not a great opportunity. So in this video, I want to talk you through what would make a really good opportunity for a recruiter. And that's not considering whether it's a hot desk, a cold desk, a warm desk. I'm purely considering what's in it for the recruiter who's going to join your company. In case you're new here, my name is Mohammed Adris, and on this channel I talk about everything that's worked for me in relation to Islam, family and business. So for it to be presented as a good opportunity, it has to be a good opportunity for you. So I'm making an assumption here that you're a recruiter who's working on their own, or you might already have a team of recruiters and you're trying to hire another one. And what I mean by is it a good opportunity for you is, would you consider that job opportunity? And that's irrespective of whether you're starting a desk from scratch, whether you already have clients and candidates ready to go, or if there's already somebody who's working that desk and making 250k a year in revenue, and now you're giving an opportunity for somebody else to replace that person. And that's because it's not just the commission structure and the amount of money that someone can make that makes a good recruitment opportunity. Even though you're dealing with sales professionals who are going to be motivated by commission and the money that they can make, that's not the only thing that they take into consideration. So everything that I'm about to share is based on my own experience from when I changed jobs a few times in recruitment, and the things that I've seen when it comes to trying to hire for my own business. Because there was a point in time where we would get a decent flow of applicants through, and sometimes we'd hire them and for whatever reason it didn't work out. And then when we made a few changes, now all of a sudden we get so many more applicants. Every person who we offer the job to takes the job, but we reject 99% of them because they're not suitable for our company. And to this day, almost approaching 10 years of running the recruitment agency, I've only ever seen 2 resignations. And that means that every other person who we've hired, either we've let them go or they're still working for us. And that's because the opportunity that we present is a good opportunity for them. Not just from a commission structure perspective, because we've been told that the commission structure is one of the best in the industry, considering all the other little add-ons that we bring in place. And that comes from the use of adopting automation, AI, and really letting go of what I'd consider probably old school policies and removing the whole regimented culture that exists in many recruitment companies. So then there's a few things that you have to consider. The person coming on board, how easy is their job going to be? How many responsibilities are they going to have? What are the chances of them making a deal in their first month and earning commission from it? And what are the long-term implications of signing up to this opportunity and staying with the company? What's the incentive? And you have to just think back and ask this question to yourself. If you were in that job, let's just say you are a recruiter and you've worked in recruitment companies previously, what's the job that you would have to be in? What are the perks? What are the benefits? And the way the company operates, where if you join that company, you would never want to leave because it's just too good. And when you think of it like that, allows you to create an opportunity that works for both employer and employee. Because at the end of the day, if the numbers don't add up and the profitability is not there, you haven't got a business to run. So then ask the question, how do you create an opportunity that is so good that people don't want to leave? And if they do have any concerns, they come straight to you, not only with the concern, but also with a solution to how to fix it. And that gives you a kind of insight into the working culture that we have. So if you are a recruiter and you're considering a new opportunity, then reach out to me on LinkedIn because we are always recruiting. So considering some of the things that I've mentioned in terms of the adoption of AI and automation and almost religiously following the principles in the 4-hour work week, we decided to reconsider and calibrate where resources were being spent. And this became a little bit of a mental exercise. So we thought, okay, if we're going to hire a recruiter and they're going to earn somewhere between 25 and 35k, what does their hourly rate work out to be? And you do that math, and then you realize, actually, we're also paying them commission. So it's not just the hourly rate on the basic salary, it's also the commission that's being calculated. So now include that in there and total up how much you're paying to the recruiter and what that will cost. And if it's just you on your own, then you've probably got an idea of a basic salary and commission that you're going to use when you do hire someone. So just do the math based on your billings. But nonetheless, you're going to end up with a figure that you've spent. And that might be 50k, that might be 60k, might be 70k, including basic and commission. And then when you work it out backwards, quick maths, divide that annual salary that you're paying by 1,800 because you're going to end up with the hourly rate. And at 60k, that works out to just over £33 an hour. So great, that's the first step done. So now you have to consider £33 an hour is what you're paying to a recruiter, or what you're about to pay to a recruiter, for every single function that they're going to be doing day in, day out. If they smoke and they take cigarette breaks, you're paying them £33 an hour to take a cigarette break. Every time they go to the toilet, every time they have their lunch break. And I'm not saying that you should monitor all of these activities, I'm just making a point that the time and resources that you have contracted with them, they are costing you £33 an hour. So that's £33 an hour to write job ads, that's £33 an hour to send LinkedIn invites, that's £33 an hour to cold call for hours on end, sometimes not getting through to anyone, that's £33 an hour following up emails for people who haven't replied to them and they really need a response, that's £33 an hour chasing interviews, and that's £33 an hour posting job ads online. And when you really think of it like that, you think of all the different responsibilities that a recruiter has and what it's costing you in the business, and you realize, hang on, these are admin jobs, and some of them can be automated as well. So now, if a recruiter is spending an hour a day sending messages and connection invites on LinkedIn, which can be automated by the way, then work it out. £33 an hour, 5 days a week, and just for the sake of round numbers, 4 weeks in a month. That means you and your business are spending £666 a month getting your recruiters, this is per recruiter by the way, if not it's yourself doing it, £666 a month, spending an hour a day sending LinkedIn invites and messages. So then you have to ask the question, can that resource be reallocated to a more efficient and more effective manner? So now if you find a software that can automate the invites and the messages that you're sending day to day, and it costs you half of that, just for the record, half of that. In fact, let's push it down a little bit more. Let's say it costs you £300 a month, or dollars. And that software is now going to replace and replicate everything that recruiter is doing day to day. So now you get the same job done that the recruiter was spending an hour a day doing for half the price. And the recruiter is now free because you've saved them an hour a day in terms of their workload. That's just one example. What about when it comes to writing jobs? And the chances are recruiters need training when it comes to writing compelling job adverts, which you're also paying £33 an hour for. So if they take their time and they really write a good job advert, maybe it might take them 15, 20 minutes, half an hour even, 2 job ads at £33 an hour. I'd argue that you can find a professional copywriter for less than that. Why not hire one? Because if you do, it's going to cost you less in time and resources, and you're going to free up the recruiter's time. Because the recruiter, just by you taking away those 2 responsibilities, as in writing and posting job adverts and sending X number of connection invites a day, you freed up the recruiter's time by maybe 2 hours a day. So if they now have 2 hours a day more free, that gives them 2 hours more to do more important things that are actually going to help them make more money and help your business make more money. And this applies to you as well if you're a solo recruiter. So for everything that you do day in, day out, why not find a software or consider hiring an assistant who can take care of some of those responsibilities? Because for every 10, 15, 20-minute task, which might look like, oh, it only takes me 30 seconds to do, it's one more thing on your plate that takes you away from getting deals done. Because the things that get deals done are sending CVs, booking in interviews, literally closing the placement. And then the next thing that comes in is invoicing and chasing invoices. I know some recruitment companies get their recruiters involved in chasing and tracking invoices, but if it's the same principle, like anyone can track and chase invoices. It's not necessarily the owner's job. And if you consider how you track and chase invoices, it's like you send the invoice and then you send them a few reminders before the invoice is due. Then you start following up saying, hey, this invoice is overdue. You follow up again, and every week you're getting a little bit more aggressive until you put in a phone call. Literally anybody can do that. Like you could hire an apprentice or somebody on minimum wage to do that. Why are you paying someone £33 an hour to do that? And if you're owner of the business, you're probably earning more than that. So why pay that amount of money, energy and resources to get that exact same job done by somebody on £33 an hour? It doesn't make sense. So the point about AI and automation and the principles from the 4-hour work week are not necessarily that you only work 4 hours a week, because I don't work 4 hours a week, I work more than that. The issue is, what is the best thing and the most impactful thing and the most enjoyable thing as well that a given person in any job, function, requirement, responsibility that they can do, that a software, an automation tool, or an employee on minimum wage, if not an apprentice, can't do if you told them how to do it. Because when you consider the responsibility of some recruiters where they might be formatting CVs themselves or reassessing contracts and making changes and checking to see if the client has signed them and then chasing them up again, all of these responsibilities, if you gave the instructions to an apprentice, they would be able to do them for you. In fact, sometimes it's worth testing. Get one of your family members to sit at your laptop and just say, click on that. And just talk them through everything that you're going to be doing. And if they get it right, then it just proves to you that anyone can do it with the right instructions and guidance. So then you have two options. You either hire the specialist, it's going to cost you anything less than £33 an hour, it becomes worthwhile. You hire a software that costs you less to provide the exact same results than £33 an hour, it becomes worthwhile. And it only frees up the recruiter to do more of the things that are going to help them land more deals. So what happens is they end up doing more placements. And if they don't, then it's probably because you've set a really low standard of what makes a good recruiter, which is something I'll address in another video. And this all really ties in together, not just a case of optimizing your business and making sure that your resources are spent in the best way, but it also presents a really good opportunity for the person that you're trying to hire. Because every other recruitment company is doing what? You've got to write your own job adverts, you've got to send X amount of CVs, you've got to have X number of call time. And when you consider the long list of responsibilities and the micromanagement that exists in recruitment companies, that's why they have a really high turnover. And because they have a really high turnover, they're constantly trying to hire, constantly trying to figure out what's wrong. And it's because the opportunity that they're presenting is terrible. And it really does change what makes the recruitment responsibility a good responsibility and a really good and enjoyable job versus one that is just labored with the amount of responsibilities that one person has, and you get sick of it and you get tired of it and it's like way too much going on, can't be bothered, gonna resign. And if you talk to any recruiter, they go through this emotional roller coaster because they just have so many responsibilities to do. It's, I don't have time to do that, I'd rather get this deal done, don't have time to write job adverts, if I don't write the job adverts I won't get the applications, and it's this endless cycle of how the heck you manage all of it. So just to put it all out in the open, I will share with you the benefits that we offer all of our employees who join. And these are things that either you can implement straight away or things that you can work towards. And hopefully when you do implement them, it's only going to help you increase the number and quality of applications that you have, which will inevitably allow you to handpick the best recruiters that you're going to hire. So when we do present it to them, we tell them up front, the job opportunity means that you're not going to be writing job adverts. You're not going to be posting job adverts. Follow-up emails and LinkedIn messages are automated to the point that the client or the candidate cannot tell that they're automated. And there is a bit of a secret to getting that right, which I'll just tell you now, you have to replicate what you're doing and what works for you. So look at all your messages, look at all the things that you do day in, day out, and the ones that are repeatable, they're the ones you're going to do. The recruiter also gets access to the candidate sourcing team, which will generate somewhere between 3 and 5 candidates for them to work on, in many cases, unique, untapped, not working with any other recruiters every single week. Having said that, we are going through some phases where sometimes that's like a day rather than a week, but the sourcing machine is there. You also get access to a marketing manager who will take care of all the social media management and the email marketing campaigns to help generate more candidates and clients that seem to follow through with it. You don't have to do any business development whatsoever. There are clients there with signed terms between 15 and 20% with live jobs ready to go. We offer unlimited holidays, so we don't track holidays whatsoever. And this is for many companies like a bit of a psychological problem because it's, oh, what if they take 6 months off? You're hiring adults and you expect them to be mature and not to abuse that policy because they can take off as much time as they want to the point that they don't have a job anymore. But you also trust them knowing that if they do need time off, they don't need your permission. So unlimited holidays, no prior approval or consent needed. We trust you that if you need to go away, you go and do what you need to. And if you have some things that need to be taken care of, make sure you spell it out for somebody to take care of before you go away. We also have a work from anywhere policy. You don't have to work from home, at a coffee shop, go to a beach, go to another country, don't care. Get the job done and meet some of the requirements that we have in terms of time constraints, so attending some of the team meetings. But besides that, don't care where you work from. In fact, I did it myself. I went away to Turkey to 6 different locations, and I spent a week in each one throughout the entire summer period, did all my work and had time off with my family, didn't book any time off, minus 1 or 2 days when I was getting a few flights, but other than that, it was just an ongoing trip. It was a working trip where I combined both holidays and work, and I did client meetings and presentations and no one even noticed. The other thing that we give is also a career progression plan, which includes the salary and the target for 3 additional pay grades ahead from where they're starting. The next 3 steps in their career are spelt out for them, what it entails, including the responsibilities and their pay and what would change. And then it splits off into 2 different routes, which is something that we discussed recently with one of the employees. But again, saving that for another conversation. We also have a phenomenal commission structure. Like, at the end of the day, we don't have a dedicated office. We're a fully remote and digital team. Although we want people to be around London and the home counties because that's where the majority of our clients are, and we do meet up once a month. We go and have lunch together and we get a couple of hours of work in, plus a little bit of FaceTime and an early finish. And that happens once a month. Additional to that, once a quarter, we agree on a target for the quarter. We hit the quarter, we have a slightly bigger celebration, and that could include a range of activities. And in some of the cases, we've just found that people would much rather just have some food and maybe go-karting or something. Not only that, but we provide personalized incentives for every employee. That means we sit down with them one-to-one and understand what do they want to achieve in their personal lives, including, do they want to buy a house? Do they want to build a property portfolio? And what are the things that me as a manager, I could potentially offer advice on? And it's a case of sitting down with that person and really understanding what are their motives and what do they want to do outside of their professional working environment. And once you understand that, now you can tie in incentives together and say, hey, look, if you get that done, I'll pay for your holiday. Obviously, you got to run the numbers and make sure that you're still profitable and you're not spending all of the money that you're making on the employee. But nonetheless, if you tie it all in together, like in some cases, it's not necessarily they want a financial commitment. Sometimes they just want some guidance, and an hour of your time is enough to correct course and put them in the right direction. And that appears to be true for one of our employees who has managed to buy more than 1 property in the space of, I think it's 12 months. Anyway, every employee gets a MacBook and an iPhone. Every employee uses all the automation tools that are available. For those who become senior, they get a dedicated assistant. We deliver in-house personal branding training. All that is recorded and you can go over that in more detail. And you also get 1 book or an Audible subscription paid for every single month. And that's not considering the salaries that we offer. So now when somebody comes on board and joins us, and you consider the amount of responsibilities that they would have in a typical recruitment agency, ours doesn't have those same responsibilities. They have more free time, there's less stress and pressure. You're only really measuring and targeting how many interviews can you get done and how many placements can you get done, and then you're sitting down and talking through how do you optimize what you're already doing. Because if they're getting an interview a day and a placement a week, it's a smooth metric to run by. But then what if they're only getting 3 interviews a week and they're doing 1 or 2 placements a month? Then you just go one step further and say, okay, cool, you're doing 2 placements a month. How do we get this to 3? And they'll almost answer the question themselves and say, hey, I've just got to get more interviews. They say, okay, cool, how are we going to get more interviews? Okay, cool, I need to allocate my time and energy and resources to this idea and this particular focus, and that's where I'm going to get it from. Okay, cool, let's sit down again in a couple of months and see how it's going for you. If there's anything that we can do to help, then we'll help you get there a little bit quicker. And by the time you're senior and you have a dedicated assistant, you're going to be getting your assistant to do a load of admin work for you anyway. So I hope that's been valuable. It's something that has helped us and has allowed us to be able to offer really good job opportunities to the people that we work with. And that just means that I can't actually remember the last time that we offered a job to someone and they said no. Having said that, we do still get a decent amount of applicants and CVs, but for the majority of them, we either turn them away or we don't accept them. And that could be for a number of reasons. It could be a cultural fit, it could be salary expectations are unrealistic, it could be that they don't want to use all of the tools and systems that we use and they want to do it their own way. And that doesn't suit us because we understand what it means to spend £33 an hour for someone to do a load of admin work when we've got an entire team that does all of that for you. And I don't think that's something that people are not prepared to change because they don't want to. It's because they're just used to doing it a certain way out of habit, and they really struggle to break the habit. All that being said, hope it's been valuable. Hope some of these things you can implement straight away or at least work towards. And if you are a recruiter and you're considering an opportunity and you like the sound of what we offer, then message me on LinkedIn. I'd love to hear from you. And for everyone else, especially agency owners or those solo recruiters, you just have to consider, what's the job opportunity that if I was sitting in that position, I would be over the moon with? Taking away salary and commission for a moment, just what would that job look like? And when you consider that job, you end up multiplying that job and it becomes a company, and then it becomes the company that you wish you were working for, because if you had that company and that job, you would have never left because you would have been so happy with the management, the structure, the team, the environment, pay, and the benefits. And when you consider it, it's like you work in recruitment, and all of the reasons why people are leaving jobs and changing into new ones, just look at them through your own lens and ask yourself, what needs to happen for these people never to change jobs? And it's because they're going to get a load of things right in the company. So look at those things through the lens of your own company and just ask yourself the question, how would I fix employees being unsettled about this issue? Get it fixed, whatever it is. And when you break it all down one by one, you end up fixing it, and your retention rates improve, the amount of people that want to work for you improve, your employees become more open to you, they're happy to chill out with you, they share personal things with you, and vice versa. And I can say that to be true for all of the employees, including those that don't work for us anymore. I never saw them as just purely employees who are there to get a job done. I saw them through two lenses. One is somebody who is providing a valuable function for me and my business, and also a friend. Like, just see them as a human being. Like, how can I genuinely help this person? And sometimes just having a 20-minute chat is a really valuable thing to do. Sometimes messaging them to say thank you for all the hard work that you do. Really appreciate it. It has a massive impact on the company. That kind of message works really well. Sometimes when they've had a really good week, just sending them a small amount of money and just say, look, go and enjoy it on the weekend, or buy your family a takeaway or whatever, here's the money. And although sometimes they may be considered small and insignificant, and in many cases might be difficult to systemize in a business, but that's what creates the personal element in a business and the personal relationship that the management team and the manager has with the employees. And that's by getting to know them on a one-to-one basis, giving them personalized incentives, having one-to-one relationship. And when you package it all together, you've got a good boss, you've got good employees, they've got incentives, they're happy with their pay, they're happy with all their benefits, they don't have many responsibilities, they just know what they need to do to get the job done, they know what's going to keep them happy, they know what's going to keep us happy, and that transparency allows your organization as a whole to just operate and run smoothly without people having problems. Hope you found it valuable. I'll see you in the next one.